Hello everyone, I'm Sean Yokola and I'll be lecturing you Petrochemistry, which is a module in CPT 150S, that is Chemical Process Technology. The petroleum industry has been identified as one of the best paying chemical processing industries globally. So I'll expect you to look forward to being equipped through this module for an exciting and attractive career ahead. Petrochemistry is a field of chemistry that deals with petroleum and natural gas and how these raw materials are processed and refined into various petrochemicals. In this module, we'll be emphasizing on a couple of things. Firstly, because we'll be unpacking different new concepts, so we'll have to go through some definitions. Also look at the different processes involved in converting crude oil and natural gas into petrochemicals. These products called petrochemicals play significant roles in national and global economies. We'll also be looking at the flip side of this industry, which is the potential to cause damage to the environment through pollution. At the end of the 3 weeks of this course, I expect each student to have earned the following competencies. You should be able to describe the basic concepts involved in the petroleum industry. You should also be able to identify the significance of petroleum industry both locally and internationally. You should be able to explain the two major processes, that is conversion and separation, involved in harnessing the potential of petroleum for applications in other industries. You should be able to relate your prior knowledge that you learned in the first semester in chemistry, in engineering chemistry, to petroleum processing. To make this course exciting, we'll be using various teaching tools and resources. Some of these tools and resources will be deployed through Blackboard. So you need to ensure that you check your Blackboard regularly. But I'll also ensure that whatever announcements that are sent, that are posted on Blackboard, are linked to your email so that you receive notifications. So some of the tools we'll be using include Zoom. We'll also be using Microsoft Teams, which can be easily deployed through Blackboard. We'll also be using YouTube. We'll use Google Classroom and G Suite. We'll also have several discussions on WhatsApp. A textbook has been recommended to you. This textbook is present in the library. You can apply to loan the textbook using the e-loan facility that the library has. So let's dive into this model. Petroleum, otherwise called crude oil. First of all, I want to say petroleum shouldn't be confused with petrol. Petrol is a product. Petroleum is the raw material. And petrol is just one of the many products that you can derive from petroleum. You'll be seeing the other products as we move on in the model. Petroleum is called crude oil because it's unprocessed, it's raw. It's formed through a process that takes over a long period of time. So that's why it's called fossil fuel. When you hear the word fossil, what comes to mind? Dinosaurs and other animals and plants that have gone into extinction, I believe. And also remember that these animals, these plants that we're talking about, were in existence millions of years ago. So formation of petroleum actually took as long as those years. So whatever petroleum that we are exploring or exploiting currently were formed over a long period of time and were formed several millions of years ago, even before we existed. So that's why crude oil is called a fossil fuel, and it comes in different forms. It comes in it has different properties. We'll be looking at the characterization of crude oil in the next class, another thing I want you to take note of is the fact that crude oil is a complex mixture of hydrocarbons. If you look at the picture that is currently on the screen, that shows you how the process takes place over a long period of time. It also shows you that most of the time petroleum is formed under the rocks which exist in the ocean. So that means the formation occurs under a very high pressure. From chemistry, you must have learned a couple of reasons why hydrocarbons are very interesting when to chemists and to chemical engineers. And we can summarize the reasons under two headings. One is the fact that your petroleum or hydrocarbons can take several forms, from gases that have small size to solids and semi-solids that have huge sizes. So those are some of the reasons. So based on this fact, it can use hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons can serve as raw materials for many other products which are usable in many industries and even in our day-to-day lives. The second reason why hydrocarbons are very important is when the bond between your hydrogen and carbon that constitute hydrocarbons, when this bond is broken, a lot of energy is released. So that's why it's used. Many hydrocarbons are used as fuels. So when you think about these two reasons, the other questions that come to mind, which will be unpacking in our discussion on Blackboard, using the discussion forum on Blackboard and also using the WhatsApp platform, is how exactly is this energy released? How exactly can this energy be harnessed? The other question is, how do these hydrocarbons take the different forms? Does it just occur naturally, or we as process engineers or chemical engineers, we can change these forms, we can formulate these different structures, and also be looking at what are these different forms called. So in the next class, for us to prepare for the next class, I've uploaded a couple of videos on Blackboard, and I've also provided guidelines and instructions on what to watch out for while you watch this video. And after watching this video, there is a quiz. The link is also available on Blackboard. So there is an online quiz which you'll be looking at. So you look at this online quiz, which is based on the videos that you must have watched and also based on this introductory class. So in the next class, we'll be reviewing, we'll be giving feedback on the quiz you've done. We'll also be summarizing what we've seen in the videos. We'll review the discussion we must have gone through on the discussion board on Blackboard, and what you must have also discussed on WhatsApp. So that brings us to the end of today's class. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next class. Keep well and all the best. Bye.